Hello again, welcome to Living and Active. I'm going to apologize right off the bat for my inability to gauge my voice and how it gets recorded, but here we have a behind the scenes look at the other parts of my living space. I am showing you this because, for a couple reasons. One, my beautiful, wonderful hammer dulcimer is about to go into that case that just arrived today for the winter, or at least for a few weeks, to sit in confined space with the humidity pack to help regulate its humidity so it doesn't get ruined. And while that is sitting in there, I will be, you can't see it. So I have a whole bunch of also going on is this building project here that I may just, as they say on the crane loading yards, dog all, just to get stuff out of the way, because I have my rolling tool chest here in the middle of the floor and stuff all akimbo like it has been since early yesterday, because I got way too deep into it and I didn't pay attention to my body, and I didn't take advantage of the stopping points, and so it's all still out there, so I have to clean that up. But what I'm trying to do is get to, there we go, now shoot under the hammer dulcimer. There's the Sweet family, the sisters and the brother, Lydia, Lillian, and Landon. Sorry, Lyndon, not Landon, Lyndon. Lydia, Lillian, and Lyndon. Say that any times fast. But once the hammer dulcimer is in the case and is undergoing its humidity treatment, and the stand is folded up and put out of the way, then I will have better access to my banjos and my lap dulcimers, and I will be playing those simple instruments that I can just pick up and set down. But in the meantime, part of the after effect of Rosemary finding a new home is me really and for sure getting serious about just absolutely offloading everything that is unnecessary, keeping things that will be beneficial, provided we have the opportunity to actually make use of such things. Have I shown you guys my fish? I like my fish. This was made by a local handiwork shop. It's not really local, it's in Platteville. But they do nice work. This is a 3D cutting. There's different layers of laser cut plywood, I guess, stacked on top of each other to make a really great scene. Try to stabilize the shot here so you can see it. Maybe zoom a little bit, use the features of the camera to my advantage. There you go. Isn't that a nice scene? This apparently is the first one that they ever did. And I saw it on display, and I stupidly asked how much he wanted for it. And I say stupidly because he didn't really seem like he wanted to sell it, because it was the first one he did. But he brought it out and he told me how much it was that he was asking for it, and I paid it. So now it's mine. So as much as I was bemoaning the fact that I don't get to fish anymore, I still have this very cool fishing related thing that somebody made and did a very good job at, so I'm happy to have it. But zooming all the way back out again, There we go. You see in the corner is my 1908 Sessions mechanical parlor mantle clock in full awesomeness. I discovered actually the first evening after I got it set up and had it running for a while. It was originally losing 4 minutes every hour. I made an adjustment to the pendulum to shorten the swing, to speed it up a little bit, and now it's only losing 3 minutes per hour. So I'm going to have to keep playing with the pendulum until I get the swing of it just right to keep it running on time. But it's here, and it's working. It just needs to be adjusted a little bit. That, in case you can't see it, I hope you can see it. There's a really nice painting on the front. There we go. On the front glass of a crane in some tall grass. Oh, yeah, crane. And again, this is from 1908, so it's 117 years old, and I'm very happy to have it. It's a blessing just being here, and I'm glad that the Lord has allowed me to find information I need to get it and keep it functioning as intended. The wood is mahogany. I still need to clean the face up a little bit because it's got some water marks, a little bit of corrosion on it, but I'm just going to let it run for now until I figure out how to get the timing adjusted, and then I'll let it stop for a day or whatever and rest after it's been going for a while, and then I'll get it oiled up and cleaned up, and then I'll put it back into circulation. It's had some obvious damage to it. It's been broken and repaired several times. I have to be very careful with the front glass, the door, because the door itself, the hinges are pretty much blown out. So if I'm careless with how I open the door, I could drop it. And because dropping things is sort of already a thing for me, I have to be very, very, very careful. But the plan is with this, and I'm showing you all of this instead of my face because, one, I'm not feeling great. Two, because I don't know, I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I'm hoping that you guys, sorry for the weird camera angles and shots and everything, but I have to try to figure out a way to move my wheelchair around and hold the camera simultaneously. So it would be really jarring if I set the camera down every time I wanted to push the wheel. So there's some of my other vintage stuff, a whole bunch of oil lanterns and really old school zither type instruments, some of my book collection, and then the other stuff that I'm moving around. If I can get back far enough here, I might have to switch hands so I can do this. If I block the shot with any fingers or whatever, I apologize if I accidentally hit any buttons and end the recording process. I'm going to feel really dumb, but whatever, it is what it is. But no, can't zoom out anymore. So that white bookshelf there used to be in that corner where that space is. I moved it over there because I had a very cheap knockoff of those old stereo systems that used to be so awesome and big and powerful, and this one was just a cheap imitation of it. It was very light. It had very, very little going on inside the cabinet, just a few wires here and there, and just very cheaply made. But everything still works, so if someone wants it, I put it out in the common area for any of my neighbors that want it to put their hands on it, because, you know, what I have coming is a 1970s cathedral style AM/FM radio that has a tape player hidden in the side of it. The radio itself is made to look like the classic 30s and 40s cathedral style wooden radios. Tube radios. This one is transistor. And then what I'm going to do to regain the ability to play records, since as you can see I have about 100 of them, is I'm going to get just a little suitcase record player and put them side by side up on top. Keep all the music stuff, the CDs and tapes and records and everything down below like it is now. And then I'll put my harp, which is in the case behind this recliner, and the hammer dulcimer, which is about to go into the case, up against that wall with the guitar and the factory-made banjo in their cases, all over there, out of the way. And then I will be able to focus on the smaller instruments that aren't so much to manage, they don't take up so much space, and then I will be able to settle into I'll be able to settle into at least the opening movements of dealing with what is coming our way. And what is coming our way, I'm not going to say too much about that stuff here on camera because well, there's really no need to. I mean, if any of you are paying attention, you guys probably saw the things that I'm talking about in the community tab hours before I did, because I've been busy working on this stuff. But it's sort of like the reason why, as you grow and mature, the connect the dots books stopped being as interesting or entertaining. At first, when you do your first few, the dots are really far apart. There's only a little bit of them, and half the pictures done in lines anyway. As you get more advanced, you have more numbers, more complicated routes. Instead of just contour lines, you have all kinds of little interior lines and everything, and the number sequences sometimes get lost. They get really jumbled up, and you don't have as many helpful clues as to what you're aiming for. And then at some point, even at that level, you get to where you can kind of start seeing what it is you're drawing about 2/3 of the way through the picture, and then you just lose interest in it. I'm not saying that we have not seen the finished product, because Scripture tells us what the finished product is, and I'm not saying I've lost interest in it. What I am saying is that now there's no longer, if you put the two pieces of news that I shared in the community tab together, there's no longer any room for any kind of confusion as to how we get from where we were just a couple weeks ago to where we, the United States of America, find ourselves not factoring into biblical prophecy in any kind of way. It has long been said that the reason we don't is because we have either been destroyed and removed from relevance, or we have become so homogenous with the rest of the nations of the world in their animosity towards Israel that there's no reason for this country to be specifically named, because they're just lumped into all the nations of the world. Well, those two news stories, that's enough dots now, and the dot-to-dot illustration for most people, if they even care to look scripturally at the situation, those who are not in willful denial of the testimony of God in Scripture concerning the end times, We no longer have to guess how we get from where we just were not that long ago to where Scripture tells us we end up. We're almost there now. Now it's just a matter of all the groundwork is in, literally all the groundwork is in place for what's going to happen to this country, in this country, because of this country. And there's no more speculation. There's no more room for, well, it's got to be years. It's got to be at least decades away before any of that happens, because we're nowhere near where we would need to be as a nation in order to do those things. And yet here we are, we've done them. So we went Mach 3 from Make America Great Again to set America up for literally God level retribution and a final comeuppance for our arrogance, for our bloodlust, for our rebellion against Him, for our rejection of the truth. And yeah, nobody should be surprised. The only question that remains is how much we, as the redeemed of the Lord, are going to experience of what is to come before we go home. So, because all things seem to be literally in place right now, staring us in the face, I have set my mind to the warning has been called. It's been established. The enemy has lit their fires and stopped concealing their approach. So the warning has been issued. It's gone out, and I'm going to do my best to oh, did you hear that sound? So I reset the clock to the correct time probably about an hour ago. So that little wind down sound that you heard the clock make, and I'm glad I was focused on it. Maybe the audio will pick it up where it came from. But that sound was the mechanism for the chime that's going to go off in a few minutes is coming into place, and it's getting lined up with the hour. So as long as I keep talking for the next 3 minutes, it usually does it about 5 minutes before the top of the hour, and then when the hour hits, obviously the chimes go off. So you get to hear it as well. And then on the half hour, it gets the single chime. But in the build up for the hourly chime, you hear that that mechanical moving of that assembly into place. So you should be able to hear that pretty soon. By the way, I love the analogy of having this clock, this mechanical clock, keeping time, losing 3 minutes every single hour because it's running slow. Or shall I say, falling behind the satellite maintained clock that's in my phone. And the other clocks that I have around here that are powered by batteries. This mechanical clock was losing 3 minutes every hour, which is a good analogy for all the other timepieces. This feeling that time is speeding up is very real. A lot of people have been talking about it, and so it's just interesting to watch this mechanical clock. Even though I know it's mechanically slow, the timing's not right, and that's why it keeps falling behind. It's just interesting to watch these other modern timekeeping devices scream way past where this mechanical clock is, and keeping in mind that we are to redeem the time because the days are evil. And what I'm going to do now to redeem my personal time is, after I get done recording this, I'm going to pour my coffee, I'm going to eat a bowl of ice cream, and I'm going to start very slowly and methodically chipping away at this project. And I'm going to pray and rest in the peace that Jesus purchased for me with his blood and his life, so that we have a hope in a future, so that we come to a known end, and so that we have a blessed hope. And right about now, you should hear another noise very soon. So very exciting. This suspense is killing me. And there we have it, folks. 10 bells. As Jesus said, the night is coming when no man can work. So, that's time. That's this video. Until the next one, if there is a next one, and there might not be, because as short as time was not that long ago, it's obviously much, much closer now. So until then, or until whenever, just remember the promise of Hebrews 11:6, that faith is required if you're going to be pleasing to God, that faith being in his testimony of himself in Scripture. Because without it, you're not going to please him, because you have to come to him. And when you do, you have to believe that he is, and you have to acknowledge that he is faithful to reward those who seek him. So, as people like to say, and I hope they still have the same attitude towards everything now, that all these very big things are happening. Things are not falling apart, they're falling into place. We go home soon. What we have left to experience here, I don't know. But God bless you, defend you, keep you, and go with you wherever you are.